What it do, Durag Nation? It's once again time for the second biggest gaming showcase of the entire year, Gamescom, which has become the new E3 minus the hot cosplayers baiting people to try a demo. There are at least 15 superhero games in development right now, which means it's time to get your copium ready because your most anticipated game could show up with a brand new trailer and new info. We already have some confirmations, so today I'll be going over all the superhero games that are 100% going to be there, plus all the ones rumored and that have a good chance of appearing, as well as the superhero games you should definitely not expect to see because I don't want you to get your hopes up. First, Hulk smash that hype button to share the news and let's get it. So the first confirmed game is Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. Gamescom kicks off the huge open at night live broadcast this Tuesday, and the next day will be a special Gamescom IGN event showcasing the new Lego Batman 4 update. The Mayhem Collection DLC launches September 18th, and we'll get a special presentation during Gamescom showcasing the new playable characters Harley Quinn and the Joker, along with new story content, game modes, and more. I still haven't finished the game, so I gotta lock in before the update. Also confirmed to be attending Gamescom is Marvel Rivals. The team will be in the massive convention center with booths set up for giveaways, meet and greets, and cosplay. So far, they have not said if they'll be making any announcements, but if they do, it would probably be to tease Thanos, who will be part of a new game mode based on Infinity War and Endgame, releasing this October for Season 10. If not, they'll probably wait until the Game Awards in December to promote the arrival of Dr. Doom, since he'll be in the game as part of a new mode based on the upcoming Avengers Doomsday film. If you haven't tried Rivals yet and you're a fan of the MCU, you're going to want to download the free game for what they're cooking this winter. But first, I want to quickly get out of the way two popular upcoming games you should not expect to see. The first is Marvel's Blade. Despite the massive amount of hype around this game since the first trailer released with over 12 million views, there is a decent chance the game is canceled. The developers, Arkane Lyon, were planning to release the game next year, but they were part of the great Xbox reset where the company announced the planned firing of 3,000 employees while getting rid of 5 studios, and unfortunately, Arkane was one of those studios. They are currently looking for funding to finish the third-person action game starring the Daywalker, but they might be ice skating uphill with this one since Marvel games are expensive. If they don't find investors, the game will sadly be canceled, just like the MCU Blade film. The other game is not in any danger of being canceled, but isn't close to release either, and that's Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. Uncharted writer Amy Hennig has been working on this game since 2021, and recently it was revealed the game would have to be delayed for a third time to 2027 at the earliest. But Paramount, who is currently trying to buy DC and Warner Bros., confirmed their commitment to developing more games by creating a new studio and merging with Amy Skydance, giving her a promotion. According to Paramount, there is a playable build of the game, they just aren't showing it, likely because they want to wait until the game is closer to finish before going into the marketing cycle. And with a late 2027 or 2028 timeline, a Rise of Hydra gameplay reveal is much more likely for December than Gamescom. But a game we could get another update on is The Wolf Among Us 2. Fans went absolutely crazy when the leaks proved to be true, and a new trailer dropped during Summer Game Fest, confirming a 2027 launch for Wolf 2, which came very close to being canceled, and at one point was actually deceased along with the studio before they were brought back. The sequel being alive wasn't the only big update, as Telltale also confirmed during the holiday season this year, they'll be releasing a remastered version of the original Wolf Among Us for current gen hardware. There may not be much they're willing to share yet about Wolf 2, but I think there is a very high chance we get a trailer and new info on their remaster since it's launching in a few months. So they may do something like announce when pre-orders are live. Speaking of Telltale though, some of their former developers left after working on The Wolf Among Us 2 and started a new studio that launched Dispatch. Dispatch was one of the biggest and most surprising hits of 2025 and is in my top 5 favorite superhero games of all time. The superhero workplace comedy followed a former hero working at a dispatch center while his super suit was being repaired and needed to help a group of former villains become heroes, while absolutely drowning in the huzz. Fans have been begging for news on a season 2 of the game, which released story updates weekly like a TV series rather than a traditional game. Due to the overwhelming success of Dispatch, which crossed 4 million copies sold, the devs confirmed they've been discussing season 2 plans, but we still haven't gotten the official announcement yet. Gamescom is one of the few remaining upcoming events this year that would be a great place to share the news of the next season with fans. So I'll be locked in for sure. But the biggest reveals of the night could come from a pair of Marvel games. The first is still only known by a code name, but has former Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Marvel Heroes, and Marvel's Avengers players all rubbing their hands together like Birdman in anticipation. Seemingly out of nowhere, it was revealed Marvel had a new RPG in development codenamed Project Comet, that was conducting closed alpha tests. The game is described as a third-person open-world action RPG in the style of Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves that you can play solo or with friends to fight against the computer, instead of other players. The game will reportedly feature a large roster of heroes with flashy special abilities, including Wolverine, Spider-Man, Invisible Woman, and the Juggernaut. The game is currently being tested on mobile, but is said to be coming to PC next, and eventually will find its way on a console if there is enough hype. The game could be targeting a 2027 release, so we may see the debut trailer pop up during Gamescom Open Night Live this Tuesday. I think the potential of this game is enormous, and I hope it doesn't get ruined by microtransactions. Speaking of microtransactions, one of the most anticipated upcoming Marvel games is coming from EA. They've been in the news lately after completing a massive deal to become privately owned by Saudi Arabia's wealth fund, which came with $20 billion of debt, so there is more pressure than ever for them to make money. That proved to be bad news for Madden players, who learned even the single player mode is pay to win now. But it could be good news for Marvel's Iron Man. The game was announced way back in 2022, but outside of a news report soon after that it was already doing playtests, we haven't really heard anything about the game, besides job listings confirming it's an open world action RPG built in Unreal Unreal Engine 5. Not even a trailer was released yet, and that's in part because the developers of Iron Man, Motive Studios, who previously worked on the excellent Dead Space remake, were forced to slow down development so they could send people to help work on Battlefield 6. But they've been free from that terrible assignment for a while now, and I know EA is eager to get this game out after going private. They canceled the Black Panther game to save money because it had been in development longer than the CEO liked, so now there will probably be pressure to have the Iron Man game out by 2027, which will be the 5-year mark since the game was announced. That means the chances are high we finally get a trailer for it as well as a proper release window. Hopefully EA doesn't try to squeeze any microtransactions into this single player game like Ubisoft does. Or if they do, I hope it doesn't take away from the actual gameplay and it's just more of a minor nuisance that you can pretty much ignore and get through the game normally like in Assassin's Creed Shadows. But if they paywall Tony's good armor, I'm gonna need everybody to remind EA of what happened when they filled Battlefront 2 with loot boxes. Still, I choose to be optimistic because an open world Iron Man game done with the talent of Motive could be one of the best action games of all time. However, even if Iron Man does get its first trailer, DC has a chance to steal the show right back from Tony Stark. And we know there's a good chance of this happening thanks to confirmation from Warner Bros. Most people have been sleeping on DC games lately, and for good reason. The only thing new they've revealed recently have been mobile games, with the latest, DCKO, actually making people angry they even bothered to announce it. But that's because DC has been working quietly behind the scenes on making a big comeback after they restructured their entire gaming department shortly after hiring James Gunn. Earlier this year, WB lead JB Perrette confirmed that in 2027-2028, we'll be seeing the results of all their training with the return of some of the company's biggest franchises. They own a lot of franchises, but during the restructuring, the CEO David Zaslav confirmed they'd be focusing on making new games based on Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, Game of Thrones, and DC, with Superman and Batman being singled out by name as characters they were looking to build more games around. James Gunn even confirmed he was looking to have Superman actor David Cornsweet voice the Man of Steel in an upcoming DCU game. So if they have something planned for 2027, we'll be getting those announcements this year, and we know exactly what they have in development. They already confirmed Hogwarts Legacy 2 as one of the 2027 releases, but they have nothing planned for Mortal Kombat, and their only Game of Thrones project is a mobile game, which leaves DC. We know from leaks they're working on Injustice 3, but based on a very reliable source, I don't think Injustice appears during Gamescom. What I do think we could see get announced is the upcoming DC project from WB Games Montreal. The creators of Batman Arkham Origins and Gotham Knights have been through a lot, but after completely overhauling their leadership and grabbing the former head of Bethesda, they're currently working on an ambitious new DC game. According to a job listing, this seems like it will be co-op like their previous games, while also having post-launch support. WB rejected their earlier pitch to rework Gotham Knights, so I don't expect this game to be a sequel to that. Instead, I think they go bigger and aim for a game based on either the Teen Titans or Justice League. They started sprinkling in superpowers with open world exploration during Gotham Knights, and that game also teased multiple members from both the Justice League and the Teen Titans. So it would actually be a natural transition to expand their universe by building a game around one of those teams. Personally, I would love it if they went the Teen Titans direction. I think a game around the Titans has massive potential. They have a very large fan base that DC hasn't been taking advantage of, and their diverse potential roster of heroes could appeal to a wide variety of superhero fans. Raven and Starfire obviously have a ton of fans online, and a power set that would be really fun to experience in game. Meanwhile, fans craving some Bat Family, Superman, or Flash gameplay could get Robin, Superboy, and Kid Flash. But it's not the safest game choice, which is why they would more than likely go with a Justice League game. This would allow them to fulfill WB's desire to get more appearances of Batman and Superman in video games that aren't on your phone, while also bringing in foundational members like The Flash and Wonder Woman, and doubling down on Jon Stewart, who is having a moment right now thanks to the early success of Lanterns on HBO Max. Plus, actually getting to play as the League would help erase people's memories of Rocksteady's failed live service attempt. Speaking of Rocksteady, they also have a new superhero game that has a chance to get announced this year as part of that return to major IPs WB hyped up. I broke that down, as well as a ton more superhero games that we'll be seeing in the next few years that you need to have on your radar. Click the video on screen to learn more. And a huge shout out to everyone supporting me on Patreon. Join for free so you never miss an update.